Well, good morning, guys. It's Chris, your YouTube daddy here. A lot of people have said they like the videos of when I'm doing DIY in the house and what am I getting up to in the house. Because if you've been watching it, I bought this house about 1.5 years ago, and obviously I can only do maintenance work in the winter because I work all summer, obviously. So Cameron's gone away with a friend for a couple of days, so that gives me the opportunity to do a bit of painting. So I've got a few jobs to do, so I thought we'll do a little bit of DIY with Higgitt today. Now, so I'm just, the first job I'm doing this morning is giving this door frame here the first coat, because it was a brown door frame and I don't like brown myself. I think it looks an old colour. Some people like brown, I personally don't. So I'm just giving this door frame, as I said, the first cover. Because it's going onto naked wood, it will take two coats. And then I've got a couple of other jobs to do. So I'm basically having a day in the house today. Because to be fair, the weather's not really that particularly nice out there. It's about 6 degrees and it's a bit drizzly as well. So I might as well get some painting over and done with. When I first bought the house, most of you'll know, it was I got it cheap. I told you this before. I got it cheap because it had been knocked about. It looks like it was a rental property, and the tenants have not looked after it. And it was quite knocked about, which is fine, because that's a washing machine. I do washing as well, which is fine because I got it at a very good price. For what it is, I got it probably for about 30,000 cheaper than it should have been, but which meant that I had a lot of work to do on it. Now, I've done probably, I would say, 80% of that work now. The main things, the main walls, because the whole place needed painting, the ceilings needed painting, skirting boards, I mean everywhere. And now I'm just doing the final bits. So there's a bit of external work to do. And as I say, I'm probably, I would say I'm about 80% there now. So I'm hoping I've got this month basically to finish off the last jobs. Now, I did this on the 2 categories. When I first moved in, the must-do jobs. There were jobs that I had to do. Old plug sockets that needed taking out, plaster work, work around windows, because what they'd done, they'd put new windows in. It was a bit of a strange one, actually, because they put new double glazing in, but they hadn't cut all the foam off the double glazing and plastered around the inside of the double glazing. They'd had new electrics put in, but hadn't removed the old plug sockets and plastered them all up. I'll show you another job which I did yesterday, when they put the new plug sockets in, the new wiring, the whole place had been wired. There was cables left. So a job I did yesterday was I had to put some trunking there. You see that trunking along there? Just there. Now, up until yesterday, that had cables coming from the ceiling right the way there, and obviously in there is the electric box. So it was little jobs like that. Now I've done put the trunking in and hidden the cables, and obviously use sealant to seal it all up. What I need to do now, as you can see, it needs painting. So that's what I'm doing now. So it was little jobs like that which needed doing. Painting the stairs. I painted the stairs. I also need to paint that bit up there and stuff like that. So as you say, that's basically where I'm at the moment. Now, this is, I'm just going to turn the camera back round. Now, I don't particularly like the kitchen because, as I say, I don't really like brown. So I would eventually like to replace the kitchen as well. But that's an expensive job. So I'm looking at maybe buying some kitchen doors and changing the kitchen doors. Because you can end up spending thousands on a new kitchen. And the kitchen, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not dirty, it's not untidy, it's functional. But I just don't particularly like the colour. I think it's very brown and very old looking. But that's my personal opinion. Some people like that. So as I say, that's where I'm at today. That's some of the different jobs that I'm doing today, and that's the backdrop of where I'm at. Because there was quite a lot of jobs. The only real big job I've got left to do outside, the garden is mainly done now. Karen's been responsible for that. The only real job I've got to do is I've got to change the guttering. The guttering outside isn't the best of guttering, and it's water's draining along the roof. Along the walls, so I've cleaned the guttering out, but it's quite old guttering and there's a few cracks on it, so it'll be cheaper and easier. Oh, that's the washing machine going now. It'll be cheaper and easier. I'll just go out into the other room at the moment while the washing machine's going. It'll be cheaper and easier to replace the guttering, so that's where I'm at with the guttering. And they say there's bits and pieces of jobs that need doing. But today's purely going to be painting. I've got a bit of plaster work to do as well, because I'll just show you, it's all the little nippy bippy jobs which drive you mad. There's a draft coming from under there. You see that there? Under there. Now, for some reason, there's no plaster in the wall under there. So there's a draft coming from there. So all I need to do is grab a bag of plaster and plaster it. A bag of plaster costs like £4. It doesn't cost a lot. It's just time. It's literally just time. And time's where the money is. Oh, I also need to paint this inside door. I've not done that. So I've done a lot of it, as you can possibly see. Also need to paint that windowsill, around that windowsill there, when I actually paint the rail where I put the trunking, and I need to put a little level of white paint round where I did ceiling with the cables, because you can't actually see it, but the cables go up into the ceiling in the top, and I had to use a sealant to cover it up, and I can actually just see it needs a little bit of painting, but it's little bits and pieces. It's like this is an old plug switch, light switch, and needs changing there, and I've got a new one which I bought the other day which just needs changing. Little bitty jobs like that which I'm doing at the moment, but these are the frustrating ones, aren't they? These are the ones that take so long and are so boring. Everybody likes the big sexy jobs, don't they? You know, oh, I'm going to rewire a house, or I'm going to do that, I'm going to do the other. And the jobs that gives you that real impact. But these are the boring jobs, the ones that take so long, and individually, it doesn't make cosmetically that much difference to the house. But collectively, give me back to sneeze. Sorry about that. Collectively, it makes a massive difference. Like you say, it's not going to make a massive difference to the kitchen by me just painting the door frame white. But it'll be that little bit of a difference. It makes it a little bit more modern. Because, as I said, the house was knocked around quite a lot when we bought it. But, as I reiterate, I'm not going to knock it because it saved me a lot of money. And now, I need to address these problems and these concerns. And it wasn't only knocked around, it was a little bit dated in some aspects. Now I'm heading towards 60, but I'm not really into brown and old-fashioned stuff. I'm into more modern and brighter colours. I always find brown a bit dismal and a bit depressing. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you like brown? Some people like brown. I don't. I was brought up in the 70s and brown was very the 1970s. But it was always so boring in houses and so dismal and depressing. You just want to be... You want bright colours. Perhaps it's just me. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on here. I'm not going to subject you to watching me paint absolutely everything, but what I'll do is I'll selectively go round and show you exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to finish this door frame off here, and then I'll turn the video off now and I'll show you once it's done, and then I'll take you to the next job. So this video is literally going to be DIY with Higgitt, and to be fair, this is going to be proof to Karen that I've done some work. So when Karen's away, she said, well, we really need to get on with the house before we go on holiday. So this is actually video evidence that I'm doing some work. So Karen, right, tell Karen I'm actually working. I'll show you what it looks like once I've completed it. Don't go away, see you in 1 second. Right, I'm still going, not quite finished it yet, but I just want to show you Vinny. Vinny's there, he's watching me. He wants to make sure Daddy's doing a good job as well. There you go, say hello to everybody, Vinny. There's Vinny. He wants everybody to see that he's watching. He's having his dinner. And I bet you he'll end up looking like a skunk. He'll end up getting white paint on him. So it will take 2 coats. I've just got a little bit here to finish now. A bit down there and a bit down there, and obviously I'll do the second coat tomorrow. I've only just started recording again because Vinny's turned up. He's been outside in the garden playing with the squirrels, and now he's decided he wants to come and watch his daddy do some painting. So here we go. I'm just going to finish this bit off here. Always find that if you take your time with painting, it saves time in the long run. Because you see, there's some people who paint who just slap the paint everywhere and then spend hours later cleaning up or trying to rub paint off the walls and stuff like that. Where if you just take your time to start with, 1 second, looking at a nice clean edge down the side, it saves a lot of time in the long run. Because that was one of the other concerns when I moved into this place. The painting that had been done, it hadn't been done to a particularly great standard. So there was a lot of you know, when the walls are painted one colour and the skirting boards are painted the other colour, and there's no sharp line on it. There was just paint splashed all over the place. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to painting. As you gathered, when it comes to YouTubing and editing, I just slap it together and I'll just say, right, you're going to see what you're going to see, no editing, which is completely contradictory with when I'm doing painting in the house and doing decorating in the house. But with YouTubing, I actually like the idea of you just seeing it in raw, no editing, no faffing around, no fancy stuff, you just see what you see. But with this video now, I have to apologise for that. As I say, I've got the washing machine going. You just see what you see. And I'll always get the odd person saying, oh my god, you should do this or should do that on the video and all that lot. But my videoing has always been No editing, no messing about, no trying to gild the lily. You just get what you get. Real life, raw, real life. Let me just go down there because we're going to paint the bottom now. Can you still see me? Yep, you can still see me. You might as well just watch me finish painting the end of this now, because this bit's not going to take long now. And you say I will be giving this a second coat tomorrow. 2 coats should do it. I had done a lot of the white paint in the house, because as I said, it was pretty. It had yellowed. It hadn't been painted for a lot of years. It looked like. So the yellow paint had the white paint had yellowed on the skirting boards. So I had done a good proportion of it when I first bought the house, and last winter, obviously, because I bought the house halfway through, not the season just gone, the season before. Just wait for the spin cycle to finish. Right, that looks like the first coat is done. Oh, a little bit there. Because obviously the first, especially when you're dealing with raw wood, the first coat just sinks into the wood. So as you can see, that's the first coat done. And that's, I'm using once gloss. So I'll give that the second coat tomorrow. I will move over to there and we'll start painting the little bits here. So I'll see you in 1 second, guys. Well, this is the second bit I'm going to be painting now. Now this bit should only take 1 coat, because it's not a naked base I'm going on to. It's already been painted once, so this won't take long, to be fair. And then after this, I've got a bit in the front room, so just this little bit here. I want to dip it a little bit of paint, mate. And the thing about paint, yeah, is always buy a decent paint. Because if you buy these cheap, nasty paints, they go yellow very quickly. So you end up in a year's time, I'll end up having to repaint it again. So always buy a decent white paint. You look something like that. they say this is nice and easy. This is, they say, goes on smooth. It's not going to take a lot because it's already going onto a white base. I personally like white and magnolia because it's actually so easy to deal with. It looks clean. If you do have to paint it, it's nice and easy. And it looks sharp as well. I know this is a bit of a strange video, isn't it, watching paint dry? But it's one of them jobs you have to do. You end up painting, like when I had the hotel, because obviously that took a lot more painting. I used to do the walls every year and then the gloss every 2 years. So just look at that. Look at the difference that little minute took there. Now I'm going to start on the window frame. Back in 1 second. Right, we'll start at the top and work our way down. The other trick is, don't put too much paint on at once. If you try and put the paint on too quickly, you end up getting runs. But you can just actually see, because these are the last bits that I hadn't painted when I bought the house. But you can just see how much difference it makes, just brightens this up that little bit more. As I said, individually, you can't really tell, but collectively, it makes a big difference. Nice smooth strokes. A half decent paintbrush as well. I've tried, you know how much I like to save money, but I've tried using these cheap nasty paintbrushes and they're just no good because you end up getting paint bristles left in it and you spend half the time pulling paint bristles out of it, and you also end up with stroke marks on it, which just makes it look horrible. If you're going to do a job, do it properly. Now just do inside the frame. Before I had actually started painting, just to let you know, I had gone along with it with a dry cloth just to get any dust or dirt off it. So always, give it a quick clean down to make sure there's no grease on it, or especially if you're in a kitchen, or there's any dust or dirt or anything like that, because you want the paint to go on smoothly. Shall I give you some naff cliches? Fail to prepare and prepare to fail. Piss poor preparation equals piss poor performance. In other words, it's like doing a car. If you're going to repaint a car, not that I could repaint a car, but if you were, you spend more time doing the body work and doing the preparation, and it makes the actual overall appearance better, and the actual painting is a lot easier. Same with this, because I've made sure it's clean, it's grease free, there's no dust and dirt on it, and any holes there were, I've already filled them up with chalk filler. As you can see here, this bit is wood and this bit around the surrounding is plastic, so obviously I'm not going to paint the plastic. If you paint the plastic, it'll just end up cracking off. You see sometimes that people paint over the plastic and it looks pretty for about a week until it starts peeling up again. Going again, talking about the decent paint. If you get a decent paint, it also lasts longer. So if you buy a cheap thin paint, you end up using more of it. It yellows quicker, so you end up having to do it again sooner, and you just use more of it. So you don't. It's a complete false economy. So you might as well buy, what is this? This is about, it's expensive, it's about 12 quid a tin, a can. But it goes a long way, and I won't have to do this painting now for another couple of years. At least another 2 years before I do this white glossing again now. Okay then, I'll show you what it's like once it's finished. See you in 1 second. And there we go, doesn't that look better? As I said, this all started because there was cables coming down there where I put the trunk in on. And obviously I thought, while I'm here, I might as well do the paint work. I'd already done the magnolia after I'd done it. It just brightens it up so much. Okay, the next job is in my front room. So, in my front room, I've got a fire surround. Again, this is as it was when I moved in. And it needs painting. I don't particularly like it, but this is what I ended up with. So the bottom of it needs repainting. So, eventually, I think I want to take this out and put an open fire back in here, because I actually far prefer the open fire. For those who don't know, in my front room I've got this, which is a gas fire. There's the cat on his blankie. And then in my other room I've got an open fire, and I far prefer open fires. So actually eventually I think I want to reopen that fire in the front room and turn it to a open fire. But for the meanwhile, I shall just paint the bottom. I need to paint this door as well. and that door there. So what I'll do is I'll paint this bottom bit here. I'll show you what this ends up looking like, and then we'll leave it at that. Okay, so don't go away. I'll see you in 1 second. So I've just cleaned all the dust off it and stuff like that, and I'm just going to start. I've got to be very careful here because obviously I don't want to get any paint on the carpet, and my life would definitely not be worth living. Again, this will only take one coat because it was coated before. I just want to make it won't take me long just to make it look pretty. But so eventually I do want to get rid of it because I don't like gas fires. I far prefer open fires. Okay, they are a little bit more work, but they're just so much better. It's just all these little bits and pieces job. As I said, I've probably done 80% of what needs doing in the house so far. But the 20%, I did the big jobs, the sexy jobs, the stuff that you notice straight away. And the bits that need immediately doing. Now I'm just left with the boring stuff. And to be fair, I don't mind painting. I'm going to paint this edge here. I will actually need to paint the whole surround, but I'm just going to do the bottom bit of it today because that's the bit that really needs doing. But if you just look, I'm just going to spin the camera around. If you just look at the difference straight away, just look at the difference. How much difference does that make? Just that little, but that took me a minute and a half. Okay, I'll show you what it's like once it's completed. So this is the before. Obviously there's paint work is in there. And I'll show you the after in 1 second. Don't go away. Right, there we go. That was nice and simple, wasn't it? Doesn't that look so much better? Here we go. I spent, half an hour painting. And it looks so much better. As I said, that bit now there's done. I haven't got to worry about that. However, the one in here is going to need a second coat. Either tomorrow or tonight. It's obviously still very tacky, so it'll possibly be tomorrow. But there you go, that's what I'm up to today. A little bit of DIY with Higgitt. Isn't it exciting watching a little bit of paint dry? Right guys, I'm going to have a little bit of a break now because I'm a good British workforce. So I can have myself a brew, have myself a cigarette, and have myself just lie down on the sofa and watch a little bit of telly. And then I can send this video to Karen and say, look Cameron, I'm being good, I'm working. Okay guys, if you like this video, hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thanks a lot for watching, and if you like these type of videos, please hit that like button. The only reason I keep saying hit that like button is according to Walk on the Wild Side, he told me this, so it must be true. The more people who hit the like button, the more YouTube like it, and the more it pushes it out. Or something like that. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of DIY with Higgitt and watching paint dry. See you later, guys.